Through teaching, I've found that often saying rhythms and having words to express what each note value is a great way of helping students to grasp what a rhythm should sound like before they actually kind of project that onto the piano. So today I want to talk about internalising rhythm. As always, there's the chapters in the description below if you want to kind of skip about the video and look for bits that you're interested in. Just have a wee look down there and you can see them all and you'll be able to jump to the sections that you might be, more keen to listen to. First thing I want to talk about is internalisation. I mean, it's not a term that I came up with, but what I find is that what it means is that when we actually say things or sing things, it makes it part of us. And instead of, when you're playing something on the piano or trumpet or drums or whatever, it's always just an extension of yourself. Internalising things makes it a part of yourself, which then seems to give people a deeper understanding of what it is that they're trying to achieve when they go to, knock out a tune, so to speak. As I mentioned, I'm definitely not the first person to use this. It probably stems back to one of the most famous people for internalising rhythm would be Zoltan Kodaly, who was a Hungarian composer that he was born at the tail end of the 19th century. He started to make this. He was a good player and composer, but he was also a sort of famous pedagogue for piano as well. And he came up with this method of using words for note values, which I'll go into a wee bit more later in the video. But just for example, maybe a crotchet or a quarter note, they would use the word ta. And then there's a whole string of words we can use for different note values, and putting them together when you see a rhythm helps you understand it a wee bit more. And he could probably be credited with it, so I'm only about 130 years too late. But anyway, let's look at it in a wee bit more depth. One of the main methods I use when I'm teaching actually is Piano Safari. Don't get me wrong, I'm not sponsored by them. It's just somebody that I use. And they promote this, and they've actually taken like Kodaly's method and changed some of the words. And to me, the words that they use in the Piano Safari method are just a wee bit more intuitive, I think, and make a wee bit more sense. So I find that even if I'm using a different method book, or if I have a transfer student that comes in and they've maybe been using Faber or whatever, John Thompson's, if I'm doing rhythm work with them, I'll still use the Piano Safari rhythm internalisation technique to help them with rhythms as they learn. The first note value that I want to talk about, and I've kind of briefly mentioned it already, is the crotchet or the quarter note. Now, when you see one of these on the page, what we do is we use the word ta to say that. So if we have 1/4/4 bar that's simply got 4 crotchets or quarter notes in it, to say that rhythm, what we would do is we would just go ta, 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 and that would be it, really. Now that sounds incredibly simple, but I suppose it depends on where you are when you're learning note values. But that's like one of the values anyway. The next step that I do with students is once they can look at that rhythm, if they have their 4 tas in a row, is get them to then start to bring that out into more audio. So I might go from saying ta, 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 ta to then clapping that rhythm. And then I might get them just to play one note on the piano. And that, so you can see how it works from internalisation and then out as an extension onto the instrument that you're actually learning to play. And in this case, it's obviously piano. Before I move on to what words we use for other note values, if you're finding this video useful, or if you've used internalisation before and you've got some experience with it, then please leave a comment below. If you could like the video and subscribe to the channel, that would be brilliant as well. Cheers. Okay, other note values. So we've already spoken about the crotchet or the quarter note. So we'll go from the daddy, if that's what you want to call it, the semi-breve or the whole note. Now, if we're in a 4/4 bar, we know that lasts for 4 beats. So what we would say for that would be ta, 2, 3, 4. And this is where I find that the Piano Safari method is more intuitive, because I think, as far as I remember, with the Kodaly method, then they would use ta, a, which is probably quite easy to lose your place, if you like. Whereas if you're very strict with the beats that you're on, like ta, beat 2, 2, 3, 4, then you know exactly where you are with the note. It makes things a wee bit simpler. If we then half that and go to the minim, or the half note, we say ta, 2, Now I kind of skipped one, we've got the dotted minim in there as well, or the dotted half note, which we would say ta, 2, 3. So hopefully by now you're kind of seeing a pattern. If the note lasts for 4 beats, we say the ta at the start, which is the point at which we would play the note, and then we count out the rest of the beats of the note. So if I was to clap, if we had 2 minims or half notes, if I was to clap that, it'd be, we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, translating that into internalisation, I would say ta at the same time that we clap, all right? So we have ta, 2, all right? Hopefully that's making sense. As I said, if you've got any questions, just leave them below. Crotchet or quarter note, we've already covered. Now, the last one I'm going to cover is the quaver and the or the eighths note, sorry. I've got a video on all the sort of basic note values, so if you're not quite sure what they are, just check the link. That'll be up here somewhere. That will help you with that. Quavers and eighths notes are slightly different because where we have ta or ta 2, 3, 4 or ta whatever, quavers what we'd use is tati, all right? Now, if I was to click the rhythm 1, 2, 3, 4, quavers would be 2 notes per click. And if I were to say it, it would sound like tati, 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 all right? My finger clicking skills are awful. Anyway, they always have been. So that's it for this video. That covers all the kind of basic note values that you'll find when you're starting to learn how to play piano in the early stage of the book. Quite often what happens is by the time you actually start to need things like semiquavers, 16th notes or whatever, then you've normally moved on to metric counting by then, you know, so you're using your 1 and 2 and 3 and 1E and a 2E, that sort of thing, as opposed to using letters, and your understanding of rhythm is already pretty well developed. So this is a skill that's good for early stages. So I don't really I've never really found the need actually to delve into looking for words for these shorter note values. Anyway, if you like the video, please hit the like button. That's it for today, and I'll see you in another video. Cheers.